Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. My name is Jesse Milestone, and it has finally been scientifically proven that I am, in fact, a sexist ultra-conservative. A wonderful human being by the name of Who Gives a Fuck, I forgot already, conducted a survey about Star Wars fans to try to find out if the anecdotal evidence was supported by science to suggest what he believes to be true, which is that people who didn't like The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens didn't like those movies because we are sexist, racist, misogynistic man babies. And specifically, he was measuring whether we were conservative and sexist. And according to his very, very scientific study and his very, very scientific results, odds are, if you didn't like The Last Jedi, you are a sexist conservative. Which makes total sense because I obviously hate women. And one of the lines he wrote in his conclusion is that, yes, if you didn't like this movie, the majority of people who didn't like this movie didn't like it because they disliked the fact that there was a strong female in a leadership position doing things competently. Yeah, we hate that. We can't stand that. Which is why we all despise Princess Leia from the original trilogy, who is a strong, competent leader who gives orders. Weird. Strange how we all love Princess Leia, but clearly no, we can't stand women leading roles. Also, odds are the majority of people who liked any of the sequel movies preferred Rogue One to any of the others. A lot of us that hated those other movies, myself included, did like Rogue One, which, has a female lead. Weird how your science breaks down the second you apply, I don't know, logic. And if you want to take a look at this, I mean, look, I firmly embrace the title of toxic masculinity. I think it applies very, very appropriately to me. Or toxic masculinity. I got a wonderful comment recently where someone called me, said that I was the embodiment of toxic masculinity. So I don't know what that means. And maybe it's like kofifi. But anyway, toxic masculinity right here. This very scientific side. Now, here's the problem. Don't put up a survey for the world to see when the world includes people who have studied statistics. Because there's some issues with the sampling that he's done. And he even admits, like, this is not representative of the population. I specifically sent this to, like, nerd people, blah, blah, blah. So you have three issues that come up with when you're doing a survey like this, right? You have your voluntary response bias, you have your non-response bias, and you have your general response bias, which is basically, if you give a survey to somebody, the response bias is the most basic. When you give a survey to somebody, most people are going to try to figure out what your survey is about, and they're going to try to answer it based on what they think it's about. Now, depending on things, obviously in this case, this is done online, so you don't have the additional factors of meeting and greeting the surveyor in person and having your relationship, however big or small, impact your answers, or the fact that you're in a room with other people impact your answers, but then the fact that you're alone by yourself may impact your answers as well. But just very, very specifically, once you know you're taking a survey, most people do. They try to figure out what the survey is about, and they answer in certain ways. Maybe they don't want people to know certain things about them. They're more or less willing to share whether or not they think the response reflects something negative about them, even if the survey is anonymous. So that's your response bias right there. It's the most basic one. It's not the most troubling one. The second most troubling one is your non-response bias, right? So this is people who are given a survey and elect not to take it. Now, in this situation, I think you have certainly people who don't take it, who choose not to take it for whatever reason, because maybe they can clearly see this guy's trying to make some stupid-ass point about how the Fandom Menace is full of basement-dwelling man babies, and are like, screw your survey, I'm not taking it. So all the reasonable human beings who didn't like The Last Jedi because it sucked and not because we hate women, were just not going to take this dumbass survey. Also, like, who are you able to reach? He's sending this out to different groups, blogs, online posts, publications, things like that. So you're talking these very, very specific niches, so you're going to get pockets of very specific, similar types of people all answering, your survey, and that's obvious, that's clearly going to skew your results. Now, he also had this thing where he eliminated the trolls from his survey. And based on what he actually wrote up in that section, it does sound like he was eliminating people who were not taking the survey seriously, or you could say trolling. People who put Lando as their gender might have been trolling. And also basically he flagged responses that usually contain a number of flags and removed them on those accounts, or found that when most responses that contain one flag bit of information contain multiple ones. So I'm like, okay, You probably didn't pull too many non-trolly answers, but he said you did it all by hand. So, like, great for you, dude. Probably didn't pull too many non-trolly answers. That also goes back into non-response bias. Why is the person trolling? Why did the person bother to fill out the survey just to troll? Probably because there's information they just don't want to tell you because they think you're stupid or think your survey's stupid or they don't want to be associated with this or whatever it is. These trolls that you're excluding fall into your non-response bias category. There are people whose answers are excluded for whatever reason. It's just no different as if they'd refused to take the survey, right? So you're non-response bias. And then, of course, your most troubling one of all, which falls similarly into non-response bias, is just your voluntary response bias. If you give someone a voluntary survey, they just may not take it. And once again, goes back to all the other biases. When we can see exactly what your survey's about, you're not. No one's gonna fill that out. Now, raise your hand if you're in the Fandom Menace and you even saw the survey. First of all, because that's one thing I really want to know. Because the survey is obviously talking about all the people who hate the Last Jedi, and we know as a community of the most vocal critics of the Last Jedi, we know each other. So please, by all means, comment on this video if you received this survey and you took this survey and filled it out. Because I would love to know how many of us, how many of our strong, powerful, numerous, and vocal community was actually polled for this information. It's really easy to take this survey and be like, this means you're all racist man babies, when none of us even took the goddamn survey. So, check your biases, asshole. Just because you put science on it doesn't mean that there's any science involved. Christian scientists are not scientists. I don't know if you're aware of that. Just because the Pastafarians will have a graph that says that the increase in global warming is due to the decrease in pirates in the world, that doesn't make it science. That graph is great, though, and definitely legitimizes the existence of the flying spaghetti monster. So I retract my statement. That is science. The flying spaghetti monster is science. He's probably God. Anyway, moving on. No, so, I mean, look, I didn't need his encouragement to identify as a sexist who fears strong women, because obviously, clearly, I have a deep-seated fear of strong women. I can't even look in the mirror without shrieking. So I don't even know how I go to bed at night knowing that there's a strong woman, capable woman in my bed, inside my very skin. So that's a difficult thing for me that I've had to come to terms with. So thank you, by the way, for triggering these wounds by being, by reminding me of the strong woman that I live with. It's me, in case you didn't get that, every day. And screw you, asshole, because your science isn't science. You're just stupid. You're just out. Oh, and that's, by the way, on top of everything else, when you just read his conclusion, once again, well, all these sexists obviously just hate this movie because it has a strong female lead. Talk about researcher bias. You think there's a little researcher bias in here? You think maybe this guy's not being 100% neutral in the way he's approaching the study? Maybe. I don't know. It's possible. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and press that like button. Make sure you do that because I'm climbing Mount Whitney tomorrow and I might die. So you're getting a video tomorrow and it could be the last one ever in case I die. I'm setting up to do a live stream tomorrow night. Who knows if I'll be here for it? Anyway, it'll be great. So I just have to wait around tomorrow evening and find out if I do this live stream or not, or if I'm dead. Anyway, so yeah, press the like button. There'll be a bunch of videos popping up any moment now. You should click all of them. Episode 1 of LA Cheesesteak Reviews is out, and you have to see it, because it's great. Also, you can buy a Jesse Shot First shirt with original artwork by That Star Wars Girl, and you should click Get Involved with Me, which will tell you everything you need to know about how to continue to support this channel and help it grow. It has my Patreon link information on it, which is a great way to get to know me even better. I'm posting weekly confessions on there. They're tons of fun. You can also find links to social media. You can find other links to get in contact with me. You can follow me on Twitter at Jesse Milestone, Instagram at Mindless Entertainment. And you guys are all the best fans in the world. I love you very, very much. God Empress out.